Nope, your eyes are not playing tricks on you. That's a Chessie logo on the front of that CSX locomotive, and how it got there is a bit of a mystery. It's a very common sight if you're trackside. Lines of cars covered with graffiti. To be honest, sometimes you see stuff that's kind of creative and maybe a little weird. And while you see cars with graffiti on almost every train that passes, it's uncommon, at least where I live, to see tagged locomotives. I did see this explosion of pink one time. That's about it though. But no matter how colorful or creative the graffiti is, this is still considered vandalism. So what would you call this? The nose of this locomotive looks like it's been professionally painted in a scheme from one of CSX's predecessors, the Chessie system. I've been unable to find any official announcement from CSX that the railroad did this, so it would seem this was an unsanctioned paint job. I caught this engine doing some switching in Cartersville, Georgia on Saturday, August 12, 2023. The locomotive CSX 6914 was built in 1980, and it once worked for the Chessie system. Of course, the whole thing would have been painted in the vibrant colors you see on the nose. This photo from 1980 shows us what Chessie system locomotives looked like. Of course, some of these engines kept their Chessie paint even after CSX was created. None remain painted like this on the CSX roster in the 21st century. Well, aside from number 1973. CSX unveiled it in June of 2023. This promotional video shows the freshly painted unit at the company's facility in Waycross, Georgia. One major takeaway from the video is that the CSX employees who made this a reality take a lot of pride in what they do. Now, the Chessie was formed in 1973 when the Chesapeake in Ohio, Baltimore in Ohio, and Western Maryland merged. Look closely and you'll see that the mascot that forms the C is a cat. According to the Chesapeake and Ohio Historical Society, the C&O once ran ads for its passenger trains, promising riders would sleep like a kitten. The original image of what became known as Chessie the Cat was an etching done by artist Guido Grunwald. Okay, so if you don't know, the C in CSX stands for Chessie, while the S stands for Seaboard. The Chessie system and Seaboard Coastline Industries merged in 1980. Railfans have been asking CSX for heritage units for a long time, but there have been complaints about the designs on the locomotives. Some folks don't like that the units aren't fully painted in the colors of the predecessor railroads. You can see the CSX paint scheme is still present on about a fourth of the engine, and a fade is used to transition between the two designs. Comparing this big GE to the Jeep in Cartersville, you can see the opposite has happened. Only the front of the locomotive has been painted. Now, from what I've been able to gather, this clandestine paint job was done around 30 miles west of Cartersville in Cedartown, Georgia. To my untrained eye, it looks like whoever did this did a pretty good job. It certainly appears to be professional work. Of course, it's not for me to decide if this was the right or wrong thing to do or if the locomotive should be painted back into CSX colors. I should mention that trespassing and vandalism are against the law. All that being said, I'd personally like to see Chessie hang around here a little while longer.